Hey guys, today I'm going to do a review of my Reese Goosebox 20K air ride fifth wheel hitch. I'm pulling a Grand Designs Reflection 367 BHS. It comes in at about 12,500 pounds. The Goosebox hitch is rated up to 20,000 pounds gross trailer weight or gross vehicle weight. It's also rated up to 4,000 pound hitch weight, which I'm not coming anywhere close to, but I wanted to do just a little review, take a few minutes and talk a little bit about the pros and cons of this hitch. Now I will say right off the bat, I have nothing to compare it to. We bought this fifth wheel brand new from the dealer. The dealer installed the hitch, and I've had it on there ever since. We've been traveling for about 2 months now, driving around the country with it, but I haven't used I guess I would say a traditional RV hitch system, so I don't know the difference. At least with personal experience, I don't have anything to compare it to. I have heard people talk about chucking and things like that, the fore and aft motion that's put on the hitch, and how that can put some stress and strain on your fifth wheel frame and also the truck that's pulling it. And I believe this Goosebox helps out a lot with that. It does have an airbag. I'll show you right in here. It has an airbag. Well, you can't really see it, but it's inside there, I promise. And it's also got the 2 shocks right there. Here's your valve to air up the airbags, or the airbag. You see a level right here. If you just see the yellow from the bar right here, then you need to add some air till you get to the green. So it does have an airbag in there, and the 2 shocks to help with the chucking and just the overall bouncing and stress that's put on it from just going down the road and hitting normal bumps and things like that. And I can say it helps out a great deal, because one time we were driving and I forgot to air it up, and I could definitely feel the chucking, big time chucking without the air in the bag. So you got to air it up. So the process I go through is we hook it up to the truck, then you air the bag up to, like I said, to the green line. To be honest, I air mine up until I hear there's a check valve in there, so it doesn't put too much air in it. And I've just kind of found out by doing it so many times, I hook up my compressor and I air it up until I hear it hissing, and it's basically at the green. It's taking all the air it can anyway, and the release valve starts hissing a little bit of air in it, and I know it's time to shut the air off, and it's aired up. So anyways, a few of the pros and cons. So I'll kind of mention one of the pros is just the ride that you have, the smooth ride that you have with that. Another pro to the Reese Goosebox is I can have the bed of my truck to carry things around when we're not hooked up. All I have in there to take out if I needed to is my ball there, and it's just an easy pull of a bar, and I can pull that ball out. Now some of you may be looking at the ball mount there and wondering what that is, or what's different about it. It's not the ball mount that comes with the truck. It's a B&W extender ball. It's a 4-inch extension. What that does is it gets the cap of the RV a little bit further away from the cab of my truck right here. It was pretty close with the standard ball, so I went ahead and ordered the 4-inch extension from B&W, dropped it in, and it works great. It lets me be able to have those pivot points and those turns with the camper a whole lot easier. I could pretty much do a 90-degree now and with no problems, and so it works really great. So another pro to having the Goosebox is also just the amount of weight in the back of the truck. It's a little less weight because you don't have the whole fifth wheel pin system slider, or whatever that thing is called, sitting in the back of your truck, and the couple 100 pounds that thing is, and and the time it takes to bolt or unbolt that. I assume if you go camping a lot or you're full-timing like us, you don't actually take that thing out very often anyway. But if you had to, it would take a while to unbolt it, get it out, maybe have somebody help you, or really struggle with a couple 100 pounds to drag that thing out. So this was a no-brainer for me to just have the Reese Goosebox. You hook up, it drops right down on the ball, and you go to hooking everything else up, and it's a really easy system to work with. Now on to a couple of the cons that I have with the Reese Goosebox. There's not many, but I will say that the design of the cable handle and the lock and unlock system here could have been maybe thought of a little bit more. What this does is it allows you to lock the ball, and then when you go to unhook your camper, your fifth wheel, you pull it up and lock it right there, and it unlocks, so you can pull the camper up off of the ball. Seems like a pretty good system. Works flawlessly. Actually, you just leave it like that when you're hooking up, and when the ball comes in contact here, this actually moves itself and locks it back down automatically. It actually is a good system. The only con I have about it is actually reaching this point when you are hooking up. Of course, you got the back of the truck coming back here, and my tailgate's a few inches from the back of the camper, and if you could imagine, I have to reach all the way, almost lay down in the bed of the truck to reach this handle to be able to get to it while I'm hooking up or while I'm unhooking, basically. Mainly just unhooking. You got to reach up in there and then put it in this position. It comes with a little lock deal here with an Allen wrench. You can adjust that to make it work at the right length. But that's one of the cons. This is just not in a good position, and mainly the only cons I have is the positioning of things. Everything works great on it, but it is just a few positioning things. The electric brakes, the emergency brakes on the trailer are kind of right here, and the same thing. I have had to hook this cable up in a few different places in the back of my truck. Of course, I put a carabiner on the end of it, and I had to hook it up because there was a few times where I've hooked it up in certain places and I made a sharp turn and it actually engaged the trailer brake, so it wasn't a good spot to be hooking it up. So I had to redo it or reroute it somewhere else and take care of that. But just the placement of that's kind of like, you can see the cables are kind of jumbled on top of each other. That may be something that could be easily moved that I may look into later moving. And also, along with your handle here and your cable, your air valve back here. Let me move this back out of the way. And your changing cables, kind of, you can store them up in the middle of the Goosebox, kind of nice and tidy. Well, not really nice and tidy, but out of the way. You have your air valve here to pump up the airbag. Like I said, you hook up to the camper and then you air the airbag up. You want to hook up first and then air your airbag up if you need air. But the placement of this is kind of the same thing. I have to, really lay down and stretch, and on top of that, I got a little air compressor, and I have to thread the air compressor onto this while I'm stretched out. So I don't know what would make that easier, if this was something that was on a hose, or maybe a little further back or something like that. But not such a big deal. Not really complaining too much about it. Not much cons in the system at all. It's a great design overall. It works great. A few things to mention. One, it does not void any warranties with the Lippert frames of your fifth wheels, so you want to be looking at that if you're going with a different hitch system than that comes with your camper. The Reese Goosebox does not void any kind of warranty or anything like that. From what I read, it actually puts less stress and strain on your frame and on your vehicle because of the shocks and the airbag working together. None of that fore and aft motion on the frame or on the hitch itself. So that's a plus. I know some of that stuff's debatable, but from what I've seen and the information I've gathered, and just just the experience I've had with it, it definitely cushions the ride a lot for the camper and the bumps, and that hookup point is really important. And just to have an all-around pivot point like this has, just being a gooseneck, gooseball hookup, it helps out with any kind of pivots and fore and aft motion and jarring and things like that, in the combination with the shocks and the airbag. So overall, very, very good product. Definitely recommend it to folks that are looking to upgrade their hitch and maybe free up some bed space in their truck, and they already got a gooseball mount, a gooseball mount installed in their vehicle. This is the product that I would go with, and I would recommend for sure. I would definitely buy it again if I was looking to upgrade and had another camper that didn't have one. I'd definitely look to getting one of these again. Also, one thing to mention, the Reese Goosebox, I believe right now is coming in at around $1,200 online, maybe eTrailer or Amazon or something like that. So it's a good product. You guys look into it. If you have any questions or anything, post them in the comments below. If you like my review, give it a thumbs up and subscribe to our channel. We'll talk to you guys next time.